Disgusting and despicable Donald Trump once again has one of his tiny hands molesting Lady Justice while the other one holds the beer for Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. You know, everybody's favorite fraternity boy who's the first guy we're going to put in the dunking machine.
Had beers, have some beers.
Shut up, Brett. This should come as no shock, as Donald Trump has spent most of his life taking both of his tiny hands and putting them all over the scale and the body of Lady Justice to his favor. So in this amazing story with regards to Brett Kavanaugh and Donald Trump, which I'll get to in just a couple of seconds.
Had beers, have some beers.
Shut up, Brett. Donald Trump lying has just another day that ends in Y.
A critical chapter in the first ever criminal trial of an American ex-president is coming to a close. Questions now swirl about what happens next in the Trump election interference hush money criminal trial, something they're desperate to do after Trump's former attorney put Trump in the room where it happened, squarely in the center of the scheme to both catch and kill negative stories that could have hurt Trump's presidential campaign had they come out before the election. Cohen also told the jury that Trump himself signed off on the plan to hide the reimbursements as legal expenses.
I drank beer with my friends. Sometimes I had too many beers. I liked beer. I still like beer.
Right now to a developing story into our newsroom. A judge has ruled that former President Donald Trump committed fraud for years while building the real estate empire that catapulted him to fame. The ruling in the civil lawsuit brought by the New York Attorney General is part of the case's summary judgment. It finds that Trump and his company deceived banks and insurers by massively overvaluing his assets and exaggerating his net worth on paperwork used to make real estate deals and secure financing. The non-jury trial in this case officially starts on October 2nd. There are still other claims that will be resolved once that starts.
Trump is the guy who questioned how good of a student Obama had been, and when Obama flipped the script on him and asked for the same thing, suddenly over there at the New York Military Academy, they just couldn't find them. Oh, well, it's not they couldn't find him. They were actually put away because he was given orders and actually stated in a story it was the first time he'd ever been asked to hide an alum's education records.
Had beers, have some beers.
Shut up, Brett.
One beer, drink beer, drinks beer, drank beer, and drinking beer. You've probably had beers, Senator.
Beach Week Ralph Club biggest contributor.
Hanging out and having some beers with friends, which I gladly do and which I fully embrace.
So in this amazing story with regards to Brett Kavanaugh and Donald Trump, which I'll get to in just a couple of seconds, no shock that Dandy Don puts his hands all over making sure he gets his boy into the Supreme Court. It's like it's rush week at the university for a fraternity. In this breaking story about what the White House didn't do regarding the investigation of Brett Kavanaugh.
Had beers, have some beers.
And I quote on this revealing story. Donald Trump prevented the Federal Bureau of Investigation from investigating Brett Kavanaugh. Even as the then president claimed publicly its agents had free rein to look into sexual misconduct allegations levied against his then Supreme Court Justice nominee, according to a new report. The Washington Post revealed Tuesday an imminent new report from Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat from Rhode Island, about limitations Trump quietly put on the FBI in September of 2018, then denied those limitations were in place as senators were tasked with confirming the nominee's position on the nation's highest court, the Washington Post revealed Tuesday. In quotes, assurances that everything was being done by the book and according to standard FBI procedures omitted the fact that for the supplement background investigation, there is no book and there are no procedures, Whitehouse told the Post. You simply do what the White House tells you. While Trump declared on social media that he wanted the FBI to investigate at their discretion, internal correspondence shows the White House never authorized them to proceed, according to the Washington Post. The report found that messages to the FBI tip line regarding Kavanaugh were forwarded directly to the White House and never probed, the Post reported. The FBI was instructed by the White House to talk to 10 potential witnesses and was not given the leeway to pursue corroborating evidence, the absence of which was cited by senators as they narrowly voted to confirm Kavanaugh, marking a major triumph for the conservative movement and locking in a right-leaning majority that would later overturn the constitutional right to abortion. An attorney for Deborah Ramirez, who accused Kavanaugh of showing his penis in her face at Yale University, added, "It's really disappointing since our client was so candid about something that was a pretty awful experience." The FBI received more than 4,500 calls and electronic messages about Kavanaugh, which were forwarded to the White House without investigation, according to the Post. Senators were then given about an hour to review more than 1,600 pages of material collected by the FBI before his confirmation vote, White House reportedly said. Kavanaugh did not reply to the Post's request for comment, but Trump campaign spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt said he had been unfairly slandered and smeared with lies. Attorneys for Christine Blasey Ford, the woman who publicly accused Kavanaugh of groping her at a high school party, told the Washington Post the report confirmed long-held suspicions. The FBI supplemental investigation of then-nominee Brett Kavanaugh was, in fact, a sham effort, said Deborah Katz and Lisa Banks, directed by the Trump White House to silence brave victims and other witnesses who came forward and to hide the truth. It all went up to the White House for a decent burial, White House said, with no investigation whatsoever. So there we are. Stuck with...
Had beers, have some beers.
Shut up, Brett. Stuck with this fraternity clown for the rest of our lives on the Supreme Court because Trump's really good taking those tiny hands and hiding and keeping people away, which is why he can never sit in that house again. Listen to Obama. Don't boo. Vote.